We are Chris and Jen, and we are on a journey.
We are full-time RVers from Pennsylvania, learning how to live on the road while exploring the outdoors and the history of America.
Join in at To Wander Freely. Hey everybody, so today we are looking at storage places for the sanitary line that you use for your RV. It's about as nasty as it sounds, so you definitely want to have a game plan to store it away from everything else and just try and keep things as clean and safe as possible. So originally when we started on this trip, I just stored the hose in a big black trash bag, and I put that in a truck box in the bed of my truck. And the bed of the truck, or this truck box, kind of had stuff that I just used outside, like the leveling blocks, the wheel chucks, that kind of stuff. But even still, I wanted to get it even more separate. You want the sewer line all by itself. So I started looking at different options of storing it underneath the camper. Some people I've seen store them in their bumpers, which actually, couple things. We have a 4-inch sewer line, so it was too big for this anyway, but I've actually read too that a lot of RV dealers and stuff, they don't recommend doing that. It causes a lot of moisture buildup inside your bumper. So I didn't want the bumper to come into play, but we do have a lot of good area back here to come up with something else that I could actually attach to the bumper. The frame is right here, and we've got the full 8-foot width of the camper to work with. So a couple things I wanted to look at. I wanted to find something that was round in cross section, had like a 4.5 or 5-inch diameter. So I was looking for PVC pipe, but couldn't find that. It was either just too small, or then it jumped up to 7 or 8-inch diameter, and that was too big. It would have just been too chunky. So what did wind up working size-wise is I got a vinyl cover for a fence post, which I've seen some folks try this, and it was a good fit for us. So that's actually what this is right down here. I got this a couple months ago, and so it's been in use for, since the middle of January, and right now we're coming towards the end of March, so that's why it's so nasty looking. It's been on the road for a while. When I originally installed it, I really wanted to do things on the cheap, so I just used zip ties. And I had 4 zip ties holding. They were heavy duty zip ties, but they were the cheap way of doing it. And they held up pretty good, but the last time that we were heading out, every time before we hit the road and we're all loaded up here, I always walk around, do a whole checklist, make sure certain things are where they need to be. And the attachment of this thing was something that I was always checking. Well, this last time we left, one of the zip ties had actually snapped, which, okay, it's a little cause for concern. So I bungeed it up for that trip, but obviously that was not a good thing. Because this, it's all the way in the back of the camper. When we're cruising down the road, I can't see the thing, so it could fly off and I don't even know about it, and that would obviously be really bad if that happens on the highway or something. So it's time to come up with a better attachment. So that's what we're working on today. Just got back from Home Depot, picked up some hardware, looking at doing some 3 bolts and trying to just kind of bolt everything to the frame, take the zip ties completely out of the equation. So that's what we're doing. You'll see down here, basically what we're doing, these holes were already drilled. That's where the zip ties used to come out and attach to the frame. So I had to bore them out a little bit to get these screws through, but basically it's just a 6-inch hex head screw bolt with a washer, and they were fed in and up. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other end, 4 more. So we've got these guys through, and the support members that we're attaching to actually run in this direction. So these guys are going to extend up on either side of this little steel beam, basically. And then I wanted to find, I needed a piece, some sort of plate, angle, strap, something to tie these guys together. We're gonna have these guys and these guys tied together, and the idea is to just sandwich the whole thing around that beam. Problem is when you're on the road, I've got a tool bag full of basic tools, but I don't have a lot of the things that I used to have in my garage for cutting and that kind of stuff. So if I can't get it cut to length at Home Depot, which there's not that many options, especially when it comes to cutting steel, you gotta find something that you can work with. So I found these guys. These are just Simpson Strong Tie. They're straps, but they're pretty thick gauge, and for what we're doing here, especially for where I'm attaching, there's not going to be a whole lot of bending getting put on this. I think they're going to do the job. We'll see what happens when we tighten everything down, but I've got a pretty good feeling about it. So basically, we're going to get this thing in place. This will go over here, this will go over here, and then we're going to slip a washer, a lock washer down, and then we'll nut it. We'll tighten everything up. We can do that in 4 places, tighten it up to that beam, do the same thing on the other end, and we'll see how secure we can get it. Okay, so we've got it loosely fitted up right now, and you can see, hopefully, here's sort of what we have going on. These are the bolts that we were looking at before. This is the member that we're attaching to, right, which is just welded to the main frame of the camper, so, and then the bumper's attached to that. So it's a good solid member back here that we can tie into. So these are the straps going across. Here's the 2 bolts over here. This is the stabilizer, the rear camper stabilizer. I brought it up to make sure I position this thing such that it's not in the way of this being able to come all the way up. So if we attach it and get it in place while it's up, then I can put it down and I know it'll come back up when it needs to. So now, again, reuse the same holes from the zip ties just to eliminate the need for drilling more holes in this thing. I'm going to start tightening everything down, try to get it as equal as possible. And the way we have it set up here, of course, this is going to keep this guy from moving in any direction, side to side, up and down, front to back. We get these things locked in here pretty good, and it's not going to want to go anywhere. The hardware that I got was either zinc plated or stainless steel, so it should hold up to the elements. Certainly be keeping an eye on that. But I'm hoping to get some good longevity out of this without having to do much to it. So we're starting to get these tightened down pretty good, and as expected, because these are just straps, they are starting to bend over the top of the beam a little bit. Not too concerned about that. We're still able to get the nuts on there tightened up really good, and once these things are drawn down as far as we can get them, they're not going to go anywhere. And we kind of got the block nuts on there too to hold everything in place. Really doesn't not going to take anything away from the strength of the strap itself in terms of holding everything together, so we should be in good shape there. So now we're going to move on to the other side. Well, we got everything tightened down, and it seems to really be securely in place. It's out of the way of things that need to move around it, and I think this one might hold up for the long haul. So for now, I think I won.